Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Earlier in the year, we had an extensive discussion on how one can protect themselves against scammers and fraudsters. This was in response to an incident that happened in 2023 where thousands of Botswana allegedly lost millions of pula after purportedly falling victim to a fraudulent investment scheme called ecoplexes. Like many of these scams, ecoplexes promised Botswana exuberant returns on their investment, more if a supposed investor brought in more people to join. Our guests warned Botswana to be vigilant and pay attention to these scams, noting that if it seems too good to be true, then it probably is.
What we normally do is we educate our customers in terms of what to look out for. We give them tips and hints on what to look out for. We normally send SMS notification, emails. We also cover the print just to sensitize the public on what not to participate in.
I think it's very critical, like we said, to be cautious of what it is that you're investing in. If something sounds too good to be true, you need to be a little more prudent in how you approach it. Research is one of the best things to do, because if something is as good as it sounds, there should be enough information out there for you to be able to participate in it.
Well, we are discussing scams and fraud again as people still continue to be swindled of their hard-earned money. Well, this is in part because fraudsters and scammers are getting more sophisticated and are actually keeping up with the latest security measures to be able to steal from unsuspecting victims. Statistics actually support this because in 2023 alone, fraud and scams drove over $1 trillion in financial losses. This figure is worrisome and prompted us to revisit the Scams and Fraud series, where we sit down with fraud manager at First National Bank of Botswana, Kagiso on why it is important to continually have these conversations, the latest scams and fraud trends, and how you can protect yourself.
It's important that we continue to engage in this kind of conversations. Firstly, looking at the impact that fraud has on the public and our customers more especially. So people are losing a lot of money through fraudulent activities, and therefore it's very important that we continue engaging in these conversations so that we impart the knowledge which the public needs in order to protect themselves against the scams. The fraud landscape is always changing. Crime trends are always changing, and therefore it's very important that we keep up with these changes. We keep up, recalibrating, the strategies that we have, so that we make sure that we deal with this and reduce the impact and the burden that goes to the customers.
Speaking of trends changing, scams and fraud used to be very prevalent during the festive season, which is the period that we're in. But statistics show that it actually it's happening throughout the year, from January until December. With that in mind, why is this the trend now?
Yeah, you're right. Previously, or back in the old days, we used to, when we were approaching the festive seasons, holiday seasons, which we normally call the silly seasons, that's when you would, expect to see a rise in fraudulent activities. But as you have pointed out, nowadays we see, more or less, consistency throughout, the year. There are so many reasons that we can put to that as a contributing factor to that. The advent of technology, social media makes it easy for criminals to social engineer people so that they, get their personal information. But like you are pointing out, we are seeing that nowadays, consistently throughout the year, we see fraudulent activities, being active.
Let us now talk about the most, I don't want to say trendy, but the most common scams that are currently that we currently see in the market. I mean, olden days or previously, not even 5 years ago, it was just Ponzi schemes or your network marketing scams, right? So you could speak right now of the ones that you are seeing within your department that are most prevalent?
Okay, maybe let me preface that by maybe laying the foundation in terms of why this frauds, which I'm going to speak about, becoming prevalent. Now, I think with the advent of technology, as I've pointed out, technology has brought people closer together. Borders are no longer physical. Technology can transcend, borders to an extent that, someone in another jurisdiction, in another country can easily, harm, someone, in Botswana. I would want to discuss maybe 3 or 4 of those which we are seeing, gaining, momentum. Firstly, we have what we call business email compromise, which is targeted mostly, when you look at the commercial, space. The second one is, mostly the investment scams, which are also, being, facilitated through social media most of the time. Because criminals can reach, people easily through social media. The last one, maybe, that I also want to talk about, we are currently seeing fake loans being advertised on Facebook. Maybe I'll call that promotional scams, where people are promoting, fake, loans, dressing those pages with logos of reputable companies or reputable banks, under the pretext that, they are offering, loans.
Join us again next time when Kagiso returns to talk about promotional scams as one of the most prevalent scams on the market currently. For now though, we go for commercial break. Stay tuned to First Issues.